Today, we're going to create 10 new and original Mortal Kombat characters. Shout out to this comment right here for the idea. And if you have an idea, let me know in the comments and I see what I can do. Don't forget to subscribe. All right, let's get right into it.
I've had the pleasure, or in this case, displeasure, of encountering Kaelum, or as he's known in some circles, the Riftbringer. It's hard to forget someone who can traverse dimensions as easily as he does his morning routine. His ability to summon those ominous void blades from other dimensions is like being stabbed in the gut by a shadow. The man moves like smoke, impossible to predict, striking from angles you didn't even know existed. Venx, the spirit warden. Our history is strained, to say the least. It was her attempt to bring back a loved one from the dead that sent her down this path, binding her to the Netherrealm. Now she wields powers like she's some kind of unholy shaman, calling forth spirits to fight her battles, wielding those spectral chains that can ensnare the soul. And that armor of hers, it's like she's wearing the shadows themselves. Those glowing eyes of hers strike fear in the heart of the most resilient. Dracor, the plague bearer. His whole being is like a walking, talking biohazard. He emits toxic gases and launches acid attacks that can melt flesh. But the worst part? One cut from that serrated scythe of his and you're infected with his disease. It's like fighting a walking nightmare. Seeing him on the battlefield is like watching some kind of living nightmare come to life. His body is covered in those hideous pulsating boils, reminding you of some grotesque disease. And that scythe of his, it's like the embodiment of contagion. With each swing, he spreads his disease further, infecting all within his reach. And those toxic gases, they fill the air with an unearthly stench, making it difficult to breathe and think clearly. Dracor is like a walking plague, a force of nature no sane warrior would willingly face. Naira, the frost phoenix, a relic from the cryomancer's bloodline. Her power comes from some long-lost phoenix rituals. She can manipulate ice like it's part of her own body. She flies and regenerates from icy rebirth. The thing is, Naira wields her powers with a grace that's almost inhuman. Her crystalline armor makes her look like an ice queen, and when she finishes a fight with that icy phoenix dive, it's like being hit by an avalanche. She's not just a warrior, she's a force of nature. Shara, the Vine Witch, corrupted by Outworld's dark energy. Her magic entwines life and death. She ensnares her foes with vines and poisons them with spores. And if that's not enough, she can even summon carnivorous plants to do her bidding. Her armor of living roots and flowers moves like the growth of plants, blending seamlessly into the environment. She's like a force of nature, able to create and destroy with a mere thought. I've had the displeasure of encountering her a few times, and let me tell you, it's like fighting against a sentient jungle. Covax, the bloodbound. I've crossed paths with him on the battlefield once or twice. He's a sight to behold, covered in glowing red blood veins, a cursed gladiator with a peculiar talent. He's got this ability to manipulate his own blood, shaping it into weapons and shields. It's both awe-inspiring and horrifying, but every time he forms a construct, he loses some of his own life force, sacrificing his health for more power. It's like fighting an unholy mix of a warrior and a blood mage. I've had the misfortune of facing him on the battlefield. He's the guardian of an ancient desert kingdom, and he wields the power of sand and shadow like a master. He can whip up a fierce sandstorm to blind and disorient, and then slip into the shadows with a swiftness that belies his bulk. And if that's not enough, he can summon sand golems at his command. It's like fighting a living desert, with all its shifting, unpredictable elements. Dracor, the sky serpent. Our encounters have never been friendly, to say the least. She hails from some hidden, floating realm, and she rides a fearsome serpent into battle like a warrior from a different time. Her powers are just as impressive. She can manipulate winds to her advantage, summoning gusts to knock you off balance. And don't underestimate her serpent summoning. She brings forth these scaly creatures from thin air to attack with her. And her aerial combat techniques are unparalleled, mid-air grapples and wind bursts that make her a force to be reckoned with. Vordak, the Forged Titan, a creature twisted by Shao Kahn's curse. Once a humble smith, he transformed himself into a living weapon to break free. And the way he can forge weapons mid-combat, it's like fighting someone armed with a whole arsenal. But worst of all are his punches. Those superheated fists can morph into hammers, swords, or even axes, each strike like a hammer blow from the gods themselves. Vordak's fighting style is like facing a living, breathing forge. He's a master of molten metal powers, creating weapons and attacks. His superheated punches are like being struck by lightning, and don't even get me started on his ability to morph his fists into hammers, swords, or even axes mid-stricky. It's like fighting against a walking, talking armory. And let's not forget the glowing molten veins that run through his body, a testament to his cursed past.
And there we have it, 10 new and original Mortal Kombat characters. Can y'all see any of them being in the movies and the games? Let me know in the comments. Alright, y'all stay safe.